Phone calls. Does anyone even make them anymore? Yes, believe it or not. But if you work with customers, you probably know that written communications are increasing and the nature of phone calls is getting a lot more complicated. Customer service phone calls can be really nerve-wracking, especially if you're a Gen Z or millennial like me and you don't like talking on the phone. Sometimes I'd rather just suffer through a shoddy broken vacuum than sit on a 45-minute customer service phone call and talk to 5 different people and explain my situation like 100 different times. I'd rather just deal with the broken vacuum. Studies are showing that customers are, yes, increasingly preferring the other types of communication channels over the phone. And honestly, it is not a surprise to me that the volume of phone call inquiries is going down because you have our generations who just, A, they just don't want to talk on the phone anymore. They just don't. I literally don't make a phone call unless I absolutely have to. And B, I don't want to waste 45 minutes on the phone when my issue could have been solved over online chat while I'm watching Netflix. The choice is obvious, but it's still critical that phone calls are handled delicately and with care. So how do we have better phone calls? How do we make it easier for customers, easier for employees, and better for businesses? I'm going to take you through the correct flow of a customer-centric inbound phone call. So strap in, everyone. You're in for a long one, but a good one. Now, I want to quickly start with who benefits from better phone calls. And the first group of people that benefit is your employees. As a staff member, you might often feel like you're underprepared or you don't know how to get a phone call back on track, or maybe even confused because customers are always getting frustrated and asking for your manager. Having a workflow and a process will make your phone calls 100 times easier. And happy employees equals happy customers. So the second group it matters to is your customers. Customers need their problem solved as quickly and efficiently and as pain-free as possible. And easier than I thought phone call is gonna make me a loyal customer. My bank can solve anything in like 30 seconds. It's the best. And it's a bank. Let that sink in. And the third group it helps is employers. Happy customers equals repeat customers. Repeat customers equals more sales. More sales equals more money. If X equals Y and Y equals Z, then X equals Z. Happy customers equals more money. Now let's start with the very first thing with a phone call. Are you using IVR or do you have a human picking up the phone? If you're using IVR, make sure you don't have more than 3 options. People will lose track after 3 options. Oh, look. I need to clip my toenails. Oh man, what was that other option? And in addition to those 3, always add speak to a live person because old people. Remember how I said at the beginning that 45 minutes was a waste of fucking time? Well, adding like 1,000 different options to the phone call is draining my patience while I gotta sit there and listen to them before I even talk to a real human being. No more than 3 options plus live agent. From there, do not make your customers listen to another set of options after they've already selected one. If it's too difficult for you to narrow down 3 options, then you need to reevaluate your customer-facing operations. Don't let customers see the complexity behind the curtain. Different video, different day. Now we've made it past the initial menu. Hold time. I will continue to circle back around to my limited patience and the amount of time I have to spend on the phone as a customer. Don't make it a second longer than it has to be. Employers, if this means you need to hire more people, then I would get more staff. A long hold time is a bad hold time. And staff, you are only helping yourself the quicker you pick someone up because the longer someone's on hold, the madder they get. Next, your tone. Oh, your tone. It is ever so important. People want to speak to a human and one that is a joy to talk to. I'm betting you may have heard this trick before. Smile when you answer the phone. People can hear when you smile. Yes, I can hear your smile. People should feel immediately comfortable when they hear your voice. Your easygoing and friendly tone is gonna open it up for that free-flowing transfer of information between you and the other human being, and it'll make it a delight to have the phone call. And maintain that tone throughout the call. If you start feeling flustered or a little nervous or uncertain, just plaster that smile on your face. It's going to help you a lot. So now you've got your tone set. How do you answer the phone call? There are a few key things that you absolutely must say right away when you pick up the phone, regardless of what industry you're in. Number 1, a thanks. Number 2, the name of the place they've called. Number 3, your name. And number 4, an offer of assistance. How does that sound in practice? Yeah, I'm sure you can guess, but let's just hear a good example anyway. Thank you for calling the Customer Connection. You're speaking with Claire. How can I help you today? So why are each of these elements important? When you thank them, they know you're grateful you called, telling them the name of the place. This way, they know they called the right number. I have literally called places and sometimes they just pick up and say hello, and then I sit there and wonder, I'm like, did I call the right number? Is this the right business? That is a prime example of a bad customer experience. They shouldn't have to wonder if they called the right place. Introducing yourself. Knowing that there is a human with a human name at the other end of the line and not a robot just starts the call off with good vibes, man. And number 4, the offer of assistance. This signals to the caller that you are done speaking. It is now their turn. From here, you're gonna get one of 2 types of callers. The first one, they are direct. They tell you exactly what the issue is and what they want done with it. Ooh, those are my favorite types. Or you'll get the second type, chatty-Cathy, who's gonna ramble their whole life story, and by the time they get to the end of their monologue, you actually have no idea why they're calling. So how do you handle that second type of customer? If they are just droning on and you have no idea what they want, you can ask them, okay, and how can I assist you today? But it's important to put the emphasis on the word assist. Don't put the emphasis on you or I, because it'll sound a little snarky. It might come out like, and how can I assist you today? Don't say that. How can I assist you today? That's a good one. The second one. Usually, I don't like to interrupt people, so I might just let them talk until the cows come home. However, some customers might not actually stop talking unless you interrupt them. Instinctually, we all know it's not great to interrupt people. It might make them think you're not listening to them, but sometimes it has to be done. I also know that, especially if you work in a call center, sometimes they monitor the amount of time that you've been on a call, which can make it a little bit tricky too. My customer-centric mindset sees the drawbacks and the benefits to interrupting people. Drawback, you might risk alienating them by interjecting. However, benefit is that if you have a limited number of staff, you'll limit the amount of time that other people are spending on hold by interrupting them. If you need to interrupt them, this is how you do it. Keenly listen to what they are saying and find that kind of breath or a pause where you can interject and ask a clarifying question about what they are saying. It shows you are actually listening to them, but you want to get to the bottom of the issue. Plus, it then starts that back and forth free flow of information so that you can take control of the call. And if you need to, do it again so you can pull back control. Once you've identified what their issue actually is, there are only 2 acceptable responses to their request. The first one, you have absolutely come to the right place. I can definitely help you with that. Or number 2, I know just the right person that can help you with that. That's it. They want to know, am I sticking with you or am I getting transferred? Let's flesh out that first option. If you are the one that can help them, you need to tell them that immediately. And an easy, personable, professional way to say this is not to worry. I can definitely assist you with that. This assures people right away that they are not going to have to repeat their issue. If you cannot solve their problem, if you are not the right person to do it, it is essential that you warm transfer them to the right person. And make sure they're available. So explain to your caller that you are going to pass them on to the right department and you're going to check if they are available for them first. We need to state this for the record because I think a lot of people just like to fob someone off onto someone else and then not deal with it. Do not, I repeat, do not transfer them to a voicemail or another voice option that is just going to keep bouncing them around. Can you even imagine how frustrating it would be if you had a live person right there and you went to a machine? Oh! So, you've ensured that the person that they need to speak to is there. Explain the situation, explain what the customer's after, give them their name, and then transfer the customer over. If no one's there that can help them solve the problem, it's still your responsibility to help this customer. Go back to them, say, unfortunately, the best person to get that solved for you is not available at the moment. However, I'm going to make sure that this gets taken care of. Can I pass along your contact details for them to get in touch with you ASAP? You can even ask them if there's a good time for you to get back in touch with them. That kind of gives them some semblance of control over the result. If it needs to be within office hours, you can say this. Is there any particular time before 5 p.m. that would be suitable to be called back? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now let's move on to the next step. No matter what industry you are in, there should always be a call outcome that you are aiming for. For instance, I have worked in student recruitment for 2 different higher education institutions, and both roles oversaw incoming prospective student inquiries. We had 2 goals for each prospective student phone call. Number 1, you need to answer their question. That's why they're calling. They want to get an answer. Number 2, you would try to get them to either register for open day or submit an application. We are there to capture details after all. Whatever it is, you need to have a clear goal for the outcome of this call. Call scripts help with that. Now, I am not a big fan of word-for-word scripts. I'm more of like a guidelines person because I like to interject my personality into it because I think I am great. However, a word-for-word script can be really helpful, especially if you're new. I generally kind of say dot points is best unless there's a specific phrase you need to read word for word. To put it simply, a good call script includes a beginning, a middle, and an end. Your beginning is your intro. We've already covered that. The middle is the call content, commonly asked questions, the outcome, the goal of the call, what you need to get them to. And the end is your goodbye. The close of the call is just as important as the opening of the call. It's what the customers finish on, and it's your opportunity to leave a lasting impression on them. When you get to the end, here's what you need to cover. Number 1, recap your actions if you have any. Are you going to send them an email after this? Is someone going to call them back? If there are no actions because you resolved everything on the phone call because you are an excellent person and good at your job, you can ask them if you were able to assist them with all of their questions today. Is there anything else I can help you with today? And if they say no, there's nothing else you can help with, then the final 2 things you need to say are a thanks for calling and tell them to have a great day, week, weekend, whatever. Saying have a great day actually doesn't add a whole lot to the phone call because it's so standard. Like, it doesn't really sound like anything. However, it is very noticeable when you don't say it. So you still need to say it. Here's a great ending to your phone call. Thanks so much, Mrs. Jones. You'll receive an email from me before the end of today confirming that change. Is there anything else I can help you with? Great. Thanks so much for calling. Have a great rest of your Friday. Done and done. And yes, I always add those different kinds of intonations because I like people to feel like I am being genuine to them, which is what we're always circling back around to on this channel. I tell you what, be genuine. All right, folks, that is it for today. I really hope you found this call flow super helpful. And be sure to make that magic happen and like and subscribe for more fun and practical content.